morning, guys, and welcome to Brazil. So I am going to take you guys on a 36-hour adventure through Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Now I am preparing to take a quick 3-day cruise, and this is going to be part of our new series, MH Fam by Land and Sea, where I'm going to share with you some of the things that you can do in some of the port cities pre-cruise and possibly post-cruise, so that you can extend your family's cruise vacation. So I arrived here in Rio de Janeiro yesterday, early morning, after an overnight flight. I was completely exhausted, but let me throw it back to share with you guys what I got into yesterday. I started this journey with a quick 2-hour flight from Ohio to Miami, where I had a 4-hour layover before my 8-hour overnight flight to Rio. I grabbed dinner at TGI Fridays at the airport and slept through the flight before landing in Rio. There, I walked a very long way to customs and immigration, where it took about 30 minutes to get through. And then I was off to find the Uber stand and, of course, grab coffee. So something that I just experienced, I've never experienced at an airport, are you have bag washers. So they just kind of walk up on you and they have spray. Very similar to like when you get your windows washed. You see that on television where they come and try to clean your windows and you tip. So I've had 3 different guys walk up to me trying to spray my bags, and I'm like, no, thank you. So they're doing that for tips. So yeah, make sure you're paying attention. One guy tried to get me when I was standing at the currency exchange counter, and I'm sitting here at the cafe, and I had 2 different guys walk up trying to do it. So first time ever experiencing that. So definitely be mindful, because if they spray, they're probably going to want a tip. So an Uber to go about 25 minutes away was $13, so that's not bad at all. And it'll be here any minute. So I do like the idea of the sectors. It keeps things a lot more organized than other Uber pickups that I've seen. So you have the orange, green, and purple. A lot more organized. And then I was off for what turned out to be an hour-long ride due to traffic, but I was able to catch a quick glimpse of Christ the Redeemer on my way. It was a nice ride, and I highly recommend taking Ubers wherever you go in Rio de Janeiro, because they are very inexpensive. All right, so I made it to the condo now. I did opt to do an Airbnb for this trip. Now, you guys know I planned this very last minute, and the hotels here, they rate like 4 stars, 5 stars, but the reviews don't say that. So definitely do your research if you're coming, because I actually reserved like 3 different ones and then did research, and then I saw reviews with pictures, and yeah, just didn't look good. So I found an Airbnb with a super host. They have high ratings, and so it's kind of right here. It's a block from the beach, right in between Ipanema, I think I'm saying that right, and Copacabana. So it's right in the middle. So I'll let you guys see what the inside of the apartment looks like once I have access. So I have about an hour and 45 minutes before I can access. So I figured instead of going out, because I'm kind of still in pants and it's hot out, so I figured I'd just wait and work, knock that out, and then get to the apartment, shower, and then head out. So stay tuned. I'll show you guys the apartment, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. All right, so I was able to get access early, so that is always nice whenever you're traveling and had a long night. So the host messaged me that it's actually ready, hour and a half before time. So give you guys a quick spin around. Now this condo is called the Queen Anne condos, and it definitely looks a lot better than what the hotels were looking like. So I will take it. Yep, I will take it. And it's just a block from the beach. There's restaurant, shops, there's a grocery store right downstairs. And yeah, you can access lots of things from here, so it's perfect. All right, so I have freshened up. I feel so much better. So I am preparing to head out. I'm gonna probably just walk to the beach, see what I can grab there to eat, and then go to the supermarket to grab water and things. Guys, make sure if you're traveling abroad, not to drink the water, not to brush your teeth with water, so you don't get sick. So there is filtered water here, but I still don't trust that either. So, and then if you're ordering drinks, don't get drinks with ice. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Something else to know, I always make sure that I leave my passport and at least one credit card in a safe or secure place wherever I'm staying. That way, you know, I have my bag or my purse with me with my ID and another credit card. That way, if God forbid something happens and it gets snatched or I lose it or something, I have my passport at least to get back home, as well as another credit card. So yeah, play it safe, especially when you're by yourself. Don't want to be stuck here in Brazil or anywhere. So that's just something that I always do. I make sure I leave it either in the safe or a secure place wherever I'm staying. So the plan for today is I'm just gonna go walking, explore the area. Like I said, I'm in between two different popular points, Copacabana and Ipanema. I'll figure it out. And so I'm kind of in between the two. So I'm gonna explore one side today, one side tomorrow. Tomorrow I do have a 9-hour tour that I booked through Viator that's gonna take me to Christ the Redeemer, a lot of sightseeing, sampling some foods and different things. And then I also have a carnival show tomorrow, a dinner show tomorrow evening. So I will be out late night tomorrow, but I feel secure in the way I did it because it's literally a 5-minute walk from where I'm staying. And so push comes to shove, I will catch an Uber for sure. But if I needed to walk, it's 5 minutes. So it's not like too bad. But something else to note. So I had been doing research, and actually one of the channel members, thank you for sharing with me, mentioned about a lot of phone snatching and things like that, camera snatching here. And it's ironic because some of the hotels kind of mentioned that. And then the Airbnb host, she left notes and said she's never dealt with theft or anything, but she recommends keeping your cell phone valuables in your pocket or hidden. So for that reason, I am not gonna vlog this on my GoPro or any other camera. It's gonna be strictly from my phone when I feel safe enough to do that. As of right now, I feel safe. I don't have any concerns, but you know, I wanna play it safe. So I'm literally going out with just my bag, one credit card, my phone, charger, that's it. So I'm not gonna carry 360, GoPro, none of that stuff because I don't want anything to be snatched. Because I am exploring on my own. Now let's head to Ipanema Beach, one of Rio de Janeiro's most famous beaches, which also inspired the famous song, The Girl from Ipanema. Ipanema Beach is located in the upscale Ipanema neighborhood and just a short walk to Copacabana Beach. Here you will find a vibrant atmosphere, food and market vendors, and amazing sunsets from Arpoador Rock. Ipanema Beach is popular with locals, and you may find them on the beach playing volleyball or soccer and just enjoying the amazing views. The beach is divided into postos, or posts. Number 9 post tends to attract beach seekers wanting to hang out, whereas post 10 attracts athletes wanting to work on their physique. While Ipanema Beach is known to be the place where Brazilian beach fashion of itty-bitty bikinis and Speedos was born, Ipanema is known to be a safer and more upscale beach than Copacabana. All right, I don't know what they're serving, but they have a long line, so might be worth trying.
I don't like any of them.
All right, so as you saw, that spot was a madhouse, but because there was a line, that tells me it's probably pretty tasty. You can't get a spot. Now, the name of the restaurant means counter, and there's literally like 8 bar stools, so you're gonna have to probably take it to go. I just found a little spot that I could sit in and try to eat. So I got, it's kind of like a shawarma pita with steak, beef, pickled onions, some sort of sauce, and then I got fries. Yeah, and it's definitely worth the wait and the line. Really good. I just wish I could have dined there because they were putting different sauces on it that they offered. So I would have loved to have tried that. The fries are really good. They're seasoned. Yeah, this is really, really tasty. And this was, the whole meal was nine US, so not bad at all. And just to give you a better look at the inside, it's fresh too. Really nice. Well seasoned. Very delicious. So guys, let me show you. I got 2 liters of water, some plums, and a tub of candied, get it out the bag, of candied cashews, or nuts. I don't know if they're cashews, but candied nuts for Ron. $5.75. You're definitely not going to get that back in the States, so things are pretty reasonable here. Yeah, I don't mind it. So this morning, I'm preparing to take a tour with Viator. It's a 9-hour tour that's going to take me all over Rio de Janeiro to give me some of those highlights, some of those key points and things that you want to touch on when you visit. I decided to go about it with this tour because it seemed to be pretty extensive, and it's going to get me to some of those places that you've probably seen on TV. You know, I want to get out and explore, and I want to do so safely. So I booked this through Viator. I'll put the cost right here. They should be here any minute to pick me up, so let's go ahead and head out. Yeah, so as you can see, it's extremely crowded here. It's one of the most popular spots here, this Celeron steps. The art has been placed here over years. I'll put more information here for you, but I'm glad that our tour guide started us from the top, walked down. I think our bus is gonna pick us up from here. So yeah, nice area. Be careful because the steps are very uneven. I've already seen a few people trip, so be very careful, but it's beautiful to see. I would probably recommend coming probably really early before the crowd so you can get some nice shots. I would not recommend setting up a tripod, hence me not getting any pictures of myself or any video, but yeah, it's pretty crowded. The Sailaway Steps are one of Rio's most Instagrammable spots and is located in the Lapa Arches area, which is well known for its nightlife. This area consists of 215 steps and has more than 2,000 tiles, which have been donated by visitors from over 60 countries. The Sailaway Steps were started in 1990 by Jorge Sailaway and was a tribute to the Brazilian people, hence the predominant colors of yellow, green, and blue, which represents the Brazilian flag. Jorge worked on these steps for over 20 years until he passed away in 2013, and to this day, Sailaway Step is one of Rio's most famous landmarks. The Metropolitan Cathedral of St. Sebastian is another well-known landmark in Brazil, as this cathedral is unlike any other traditional cathedral due to its cone shape that represents a Mayan pyramid. The cone shape symbolizes the closeness between God and humanity, and the open space creates a serene and spiritual atmosphere. Here you will find a mini statue of Christ the Redeemer, as well as a bench statue of homeless Jesus, which was created to pay homage to the more than 20,000 people who are homeless in Rio. Be sure to dress appropriately when you enter, or you can borrow one of the scarves to cover up. The Metropolitan Cathedral of St. Sebastian is one of Rio's most important religious sites and is also home to an underground museum that has religious artifacts on display. Next, we pass by the Samba Drome, which hosts the Rio Carnival Samba parades each year between February and March. This amazing stadium can accommodate 90,000 spectators and is over 2,300 feet long. Another famous stadium located in Rio is the Maracanã football stadium, which opened in 1950 for the FIFA World Cup and is home to two of Brazil's biggest football teams. This stadium can host up to 78,000 visitors and has been used to host the 2016 Olympic opening and closing ceremonies, as well as concerts for popular artists such as the Rolling Stones and Madonna. So it is lunchtime. We're at a buffet. We have not gone to Christ the Redeemer or any other spot yet. I think he's trying to wait until the crowds die down a little bit, and this is a pretty long tour. So, but this is all you can eat buffet, and he said your food is included. The only thing not would be desserts and drinks. So it's included in the price of the tour. So I'm gonna enjoy it. There are 3 ways to get up Corcovado Mountain to see Christ the Redeemer. You can catch the Corcovado train, which costs about 100 to 150 Brazilian reals, or about 25 US dollars. This will take about 20 minutes each way. You can also choose to go up by van, but keep in mind not all tour buses can access the mountain, and this will take about 7 minutes. Or if you are an adventure seeker, you can opt to hike up the mountain, and this will take about 2.5 hours. Be sure to use caution this way and give yourself plenty of time to get back down before sunset, as our tour guide did warn us of robberies that can occur on the trail. Plan to visit Christ the Redeemer in the morning for less crowds, in the afternoon to catch the sunset, and avoid cloudy or rainy days as you may not have a clear view. I'm very nervous. Christ the Redeemer is one of the most iconic landmarks in the world. In fact, it is considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. Christ the Redeemer is a symbol of Christianity and Brazilian pride and has become a symbol of peace, protection, and unity for the Brazilian people. You can catch amazing views of Rio de Janeiro from the 2,300-foot summit of Corcovado Mountain. It is quite the sight to see, but do be mindful of the crowds, the heat, and the height. Sugarloaf Mountain is another iconic landmark in Rio, and it rises to 1,300 feet above sea level. To get to Sugarloaf Mountain, you will need to take a cable car ride up, and it is divided into 2 parts, as you will see. Again, those who love adventure can choose to hike up the mountain. The views at the peak are amazing. You guys know I'm really nervous. Let's see. Alright, so I didn't realize there was actually 2 cable cars to get to the top of Sugarloaf, but we are here. Tour was a lot longer than I thought, so I am actually going to head out and catch an Uber because I have the Roxy show, I think 7 or 7:30, and it is after 5:30. So, and they also said they were dropping off in the order. They're not doing it in reverse order, so I would have been one of the last to be dropped off. So I am headed back by Uber. I think it was like $9 Uber to get back to my Airbnb so that I can shower and get ready for dinner. The Roxy Dinner Show, located in Copacabana, is a premier cultural experience for those wanting to be immersed in the rich musical and folkloric traditions of Brazil. You can purchase your tickets on the Brazil Ticketmaster website and can choose to have dinner included, which honestly, if I visit again, I'd pass on dinner. But the show itself is an absolute must-see. If you enjoyed part 1 of our MH Fan by Land and Sea Brazil, be sure to stay tuned for part 2, where we will take the adventure to sea on board MSC Orchestra for a short 3-night cruise where we will visit beautiful Ihabela, Brazil. Please consider subscribing to our channel, like this video, drop a comment, and share this with your friends and family. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us for part 2 of MH Fan by Land and Sea from Brazil. In this video, we will take a 3-day cruise adventure on board MSC Orchestra from Rio de Janeiro, and we will check out the beautiful island of Ihabela, Brazil. If you missed part 1 where I shared how I spent 36 hours in Rio de Janeiro before my cruise, be sure to check it out and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. All right, guys, I've made it on board MSC Orchestra. This is for a short 3-night sailing. Now, this is the whole reason for me coming to Rio de Janeiro. I figured first time in Rio de Janeiro, I might as well tag along a cruise, and it just kind of worked out perfectly to do the pre-cruise things, the 3-night cruise, and I might do something post-cruise, so stay tuned for that. But we're gonna go ahead and grab some lunch and explore some of the ship. It is really, really hot here. I underestimated how cold or how hot it is here in Rio de Janeiro. So definitely consider that when you're considering booking your cruise out of Rio de Janeiro. But let's go off and explore and grab something to eat. The Port of Rio de Janeiro is located near downtown Rio and is home to cruise lines such as MSC Cruises, Costa, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Silver Sea. The Port of Rio is a short Uber ride to popular destinations such as Copacabana Beach, Sugarloaf Mountain, and Christ the Redeemer. Now, I'll be very honest that while the port authorities here did an excellent job making accommodations for those with special needs, families traveling with children under 2, and guests 16 and older, those of us who didn't fall in one of these categories found ourselves waiting over an hour in the sun to even start the embarkation process. There is certainly work to be done to make this port more organized and efficient. Y'all, this terminal is a hot mess. Thank goodness for an ARIA upgrade. I was able to kind of skip the line. It is a hot mess. MSC Orchestra launched in 2007 and is part of the Musica class. This ship can accommodate about 3,000 guests and 1,000 crew members and is a perfect mid-sized ship that offers several outdoor pool and jacuzzi options, as well as several different indoor lounges to relax in. While the ship does offer kids and teens clubs, as well as a virtual reality arcade and gaming room, this ship does not have any water slides, outdoor play areas, a sportsplex, or splash pads for those children looking for more adventure. But MSC Orchestra does offer an inviting MSC ARIA spa with sauna, Turkish bath, and various massage and spa treatments for those adults wanting a bit of pampering. Also, something to know about MSC Orchestra is that it only has one specialty dining option, which is Chinese. I'll share that with you later in the vlog. But there is the buffet that's open throughout the day, as well as the main dining room. And you know my rule of thumb, always go to the back of the buffet where it's going to be a lot less crowded. All right, y'all, so I had to come just chill out for a minute. It is so hot here. I underestimated the weather here. So the heat has taken a toll on me. But a couple things to know. Like I said, the terminal was complete chaos. That's, I guess, no fault of MSC's. It's just the way they have it set up. So I would recommend, if you are cruising out of Rio de Janeiro, to have some sort of priority status. If you have any disability, they did have a special lane for those with autism, special needs, 60 and older. Make sure you have that marked on your booking, because they did have a separate lane that went a lot faster. There was just no airflow in the terminal, so in the heat, I'm just not used to anymore. It's snowing back home right now, so to put in perspective for those of you who don't know where I live, it's snowing back home right now. So yeah, so I'm on board. They've made a few announcements, which is interesting because nothing has been in English. Even when I was in the terminal, they had to find someone that could speak English to let me know that I was upgraded to ARIA. So it'll be very interesting. I wonder if they're going to actually translate into English. Now, I've taken cruises with MSC from Barcelona, through Italy, and most recently out of Martinique. And they, for the most part, started their announcements in English, and then they would translate into like 4 or 5 other languages. And that didn't happen. So it sounds like maybe he spoke maybe 3 different languages, but not English. So I must be like the lowest common denominator on this on this sailing. So they're probably not going to translate English. So that's interesting. This first time that I've experienced it. So I'll have to have my Google Translate app open and recording. That way I can kind of know what's going on. So just something to know. But yeah, I'm gonna get up here after I rest and cool off and explore more of this ship. One thing that I loved about MSC Orchestra was that the inside lounges never really felt crowded. Now the pool deck on this Brazilian cruise is another conversation. but the lounges were always so inviting. I spent a lot of time just relaxing and people watching from the comfort of the indoor lounges. And besides relaxing, I also enjoyed several of the live shows, activities, and live music that was offered daily. The shows on board, I will just have to say that they were some of the best that I've seen on board MSC Cruises. You can expect to have one show each night with an early and late showtime, as well as karaoke, tournaments in the Palm Beach Casino, and a DJ jamming at the R32 Disco until late in the evening. You will always find something to do when cruising with MSC. And if you're looking to give MSC Cruises a try, I'd love to help you plan your cruise adventure with them. I'm the owner of Major Adventures Travel, and we focus solely on cruises. MSC is one of our top suppliers, and I have cruised with them myself 10 times so far, so I know a thing or two about MSC Cruises. You can find our contact information in the description of this video. Grabbed a close-up spot for sailaway. Got my mustard drill knocked out early. That way I can check out what the sailaway is like here. It's very subtle. It's like a lightly sweetened fruit punch though, but it has no color to it. I could do without it.
Senhoras e senhores, boa noite! Boa noite, sejam todos bem-vindos aqui no nosso teatro. Sejam todos bem-vindos a bordo do MSC Orquestra. A primeira noite vamos apresentar duas vestimentas para ficar bonitas para as noites, tá certo? Muito bem, agora eu vou dar uma passadinha em outros idiomas, já que temos outras nacionalidades a bordo. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening!
Aê, good
Hello,
evening.
hello.
Good evening.
Esse good evening aí é de Niterói.
É de Nova Iguaçu.
Good evening, welcome to the theater, welcome on board. My name is Rafael, I'm our cruise director, and every night we are waiting for you here in the theater for the wonderful shows.
Parabéns.
Damas y caballeros, muy buenas noches! Os mesmos de Niterói.
All right, so we are docked, or not docked. We are here in Ihabela, which is part of Sao Paulo, and it is a tender port. So I'm currently booked with the MSC Shore Excursion. There is no translation for English. It's the only thing they have available because there's only 8 English speakers on board. So yeah, it'll be a very interesting day. They did advise to put on mosquito repellent. I mentioned before that mosquitoes are pretty bad here, so they did advise to go ahead and put that on. And they said if you don't have any, they do have some at the beach. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do, and we're gonna be getting on this tender boat. It is so beautiful here. Guys, it is so beautiful here, and I'm just waiting for my tour to begin. Now this is a 2-part tour. Part of it's on the land by a 4x4, and then the other part is a schooner boat. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. Now the waters are pretty choppy today, so we'll see what happens. But no one here speaks English, so they're kind of gesturing and keeping an eye on me to make sure I don't miss the tour. So keep that in mind. You know, that's expected when you are traveling abroad. It's just interesting that, you know, like I said, I've cruised so many other MSC ships, and this is the first time that there were only, you know, there were less than 10 English speakers. So I didn't want to cancel the tour because I didn't want to explore this place on my own, being my first time. So it'll be an interesting tour. It's really a beach stop. And like I said, you're going to reach the beach by sea and also by land, is my understanding. So just want to get out here and check out these beautiful beaches. It is already gorgeous. I love the landscape here. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really beautiful. And I don't think the videos or the pictures will do it justice. So this tour was booked directly with MSC Cruises, as I tend to only book cruise line excursions when I'm in a foreign place and solo for the first time. But before I share the details of the tour, I must give a huge thank you to MSC Cruises for sending one of their English-speaking shore excursions team members to join me on the tour. I had no clue until I arrived in port and was approached by a crew member who was excited to join me and have a day off. Since I was the only English speaker on the tour and no translation services were provided by the tour operator, MSC made sure I was accommodated for, and I was very appreciative. This won't always be the case when booking a shore excursion with MSC, as tours of a certain language can be canceled if there isn't enough interest. However, since the tour advertised as being in English and Portuguese, MSC did their best to make things right and also provided a 20% refund of the excursion without me ever asking or complaining. Now this tour cost about $70 and was a 5-hour tour that took us through the mainland of Ihabela. We made a couple scenic picture stops and made our way to the beach on a 4x4. If you have any mobility challenges, back issues, or sensitivity to motion, I would not recommend this, as it was a very bumpy ride. Once we made it to the beach, we had about 2 hours of free time to enjoy the beach and have lunch at our own expense. After beach time, we boarded another boat for a scenic look at Ihabela by sea. This tour may operate in reverse order, but what I loved about it, besides the amazing views, was that unlike most cruise ship tours, this one was not overcrowded at all, and it made for a wonderful day in Brazil. So it's been an amazing time here at this beach. I'm gonna hands down say this is probably the most picturesque beach that I've been to date. You guys know I love St. Thomas. St. Thomas is gorgeous, but just the foliage and just the atmosphere. It's a quiet vibe. It's just now starting to fill up. When I first got here, there weren't a whole lot of people out here. And again, you can take a transfer with the ship over to this beach, or you can do the tour like I'm doing. That's 2 parts. Amazing beach. So this is one that I could actually spend the full day at, because like I said, right now it's overcast, so it's not really hot. The water's cool. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. So I could definitely see myself spending some time here. In fact, I'm probably going to look to see if there's possible to fly here, because I would love to spend a few days here. It's beautiful. Yeah, so far enjoying it. So we're getting on one of these boats out here. I'm wondering if this little raft is going to get us to the boat. I don't like little rafts. Yeah, I have a suspicion they're going to pick us up in that and have us get into the boat. That'll be interesting. Ihabela, Brazil is probably one of the most scenic places that I've ever visited. In fact, the word Ihabela means beautiful island. Ihabela is located right off the coast of Sao Paulo and is known for its stunning beaches and lush rainforests. There are approximately 35,000 residents who live there. Ihabela is home to 360 waterfalls, exotic wildlife, and also has legends of hidden pirate treasures. One thing to be careful about when visiting Ihabela are the borrachudos, or tiny biting flies. I applied bug repellent, but when I got home a few days later, I did find at least a dozen small insect bites on my extremities. But nonetheless, Ihabela is a destination that I will absolutely visit again. So that was an awesome tour. I wish I could have stayed longer at the beach. It was beautiful, 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 beautiful area. Definitely have to come back, either by cruise or by land. Yeah, might be one of my favorite islands. And I didn't see much of it, but from what I've seen, it's beautiful. So I still have about 4 hours I can explore the port and get back on the ship. The last tender leaves at 6. So I don't know, I might just walk around, pick up a souvenir or two and get back on the ship. So it looks like they're preparing for Carnival too. Probably a smaller version of it, I don't know. But looks, yeah, they're setting up for it. All right, so the one thing that I said I didn't do in Rio that I wanted to do, that I have to do now that I see it, is acai. Jill Marie's like obsessed with it. I think she's seen it on TV somewhere, and I have yet to try it. So I'm gonna get one. So guys, got acai. First time, let's give it a try. This was like the must thing that I wanted to do while in Brazil. And this is $2.12. Really, really good. Sorry, brain freeze. I can't really describe what it tastes like. It's kind of like a plum to me. Ooh, brain freeze. Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of like a plum. And you can add in mix-ins if you want it. I just wanted it natural. That way I can taste it. Really good. I'm glad I'm able to finish off my trip with this. Once back on the ship, I went back to my cabin and rested, showered, then had dinner at the buffet, and ended my evening by watching this amazing show. It was a lot of fun, guys. Be sure to check out the performances on MSC. I really enjoyed the variety show here. Following the show, I did attempt to go to the late evening white night party, but we got rained out. So I called it a night and prepared for my next day at sea. And here we are, the last day of the cruise, day 3. It is a sea day. And guys, honestly, I just enjoyed the sea day relaxing. I had quite a bit of coffee to start my morning off, lounged by the pool and on the pool decks, and then I went inside to just relax and cool off a little bit. But honestly, I didn't do a whole lot on this day. I did browse to shop, pick up a couple of souvenirs, did a little bit of work, but honestly, not a whole lot going on the ship that I wanted to do. There were a lot of deck parties going on, which really isn't my style of cruising, but lots of deck parties and activities going on. And of course, there was a show in the evening. Now, I did decide to have lunch in the main dining room. So you're going to see me have lunch, followed right by dinner, but just know that there was a break in between there. I was working and just enjoying the ship. So I decided to have lunch in the main dining room to avoid the buffet chaos. They were trying to seat me with others. I had to explain, hey, I speak English. It'd be great if I could sit by myself. So they finally agreed to give me a table. So hopefully they won't try to put other people here because I don't speak Portuguese. And it's kind of awkward sitting at a table with others that are speaking and you can't speak to them. So again, that was one of my issues with this ship, is that there really aren't solo tables, like even on the buffet. Everything's like floor top or bigger. So yeah, so keep that in mind if you're a solo cruiser. Shanghai is the only specialty dining offering on board MSC Orchestra. Shanghai specializes in Asian food, and I found the price of $18 per person to be well worth the cost. But thankfully, I didn't have to pay at all due to my Diamond loyalty status with MSC Cruises. Be sure to check out their status match program before your cruise. I dined at 6:30 p.m. and as you can see, I was the only one in the restaurant. I learned from the friendly server that this restaurant is often underutilized during the Brazilian season, as most Brazilians love to enjoy the complimentary options offered. I found the food to be amazing and plentiful, and I'd certainly dine at Shanghai again. And that is it for our very first MH Fan by Land and Sea series. I disembarked the ship swiftly, caught a $7 Uber to the airport, relaxed all day long at the airport, tried KFC in Brazil, and yes, it is way better than the US, and I was off on my long flight back to the US, where I missed my first ever connecting flight in Miami due to waiting on bags to recheck. But I made it back home safely to the family, in one piece and ready for the next adventure. I hope you enjoyed this new series. We will have more on the way, but in the meantime, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. See you next time.